Welcome to Girls Gone Hallmark, a Hallmark review podcast. I'm Megan, and I'm a longtime Hallmark fan.
I'm Wendy. I'm a former Hallmark hater.
On today's episode, we are discussing Paris is Always a Good Idea, Episode 5, Marcos Revisited, which is now streaming on Hallmark Plus exclusively. You can keep up with us all over the internet. We invite you to follow us on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, where we are Girls Gone Hallmark. And please take a look at our website, girlsgonehallmark.com, because the information is coming out fast and furious from Hallmark, and we are keeping things updated over there.
Can I tell you? So I've been gone for a week.
Yeah.
I had to take like a week off. But so we recorded a bunch of stuff before I left. And then I came home and I was watching TV, and then they're like, the finale. And I was like, wait a minute. I'm talking the finale for this show, Paris is Always a Good Idea.
And you hadn't even watched the fifth?
I was like, wait, I'm so confused.
Yeah,
and I'm like, so has the fifth aired already?
Yeah.
That's wild.
And this was the first time I've watched it on Hallmark Plus.
Yeah, me too.
Instead of on a screener.
Me too. So I got to see like subtitles.
Yes.
Woo, woo,
it was amazing. There were some mistakes in the subtitles.
I noticed Knightley was, what did you notice? Like Knightley was N-I-G-H-T.
Apolline was Abilene.
Oh, funny. Funny. Yeah, so I can't believe how fast the series has gone. And, you know, our Facebook community, it seems to be well liked.
Yes. We have a bunch of emails. Can I read you some?
Yes, I'm so excited.
First, Marianne says, you're kidding me that you're not getting much mailbag. I listened to your episode on Nightly today and felt like I had to write in. I can't believe everyone isn't writing in. This show is so good. I keep wishing there were 20 episodes so I can sit and binge. Lacey's already my favorite Hallmark actress, but in this series, she's definitely getting to show off her range. She's saying so much with her facial reactions and expressions, the full gamut of emotions. I'm so glad they're zooming in on her face so we get a full view of the emotions she's feeling in character. I definitely cried in the scene when she shared about her mom with the CEO of Apolline, and there's so much good banter between Chelsea and Knightley, and the scene in the elevator. Wow.
Yeah.
That's pushing the Hallmark envelope, isn't it?
Wow in a good, is she like a wow in a good way or a wow?
Oh, I think so. Yeah. Allison says, thank you for the library tip for connecting to Hallmark Plus. I pretty much binged the first 5 episodes the past few days and just started episode 4 of your podcast. As usual, your takes are spot on. My biggest annoyance of the first few episodes was her wardrobe. I just can't see wearing those tank tops in an office without a suit jacket. And her hair always looks so messy pulled back. It doesn't fit her character.
I like her styling.
Me too. Summer says, my theory is that the final episode will be Nightly revisited. It makes sense that if all the other episodes are about revisiting a place and or person, the final episode would also follow that pattern. That's why this one is just Nightly. And as a romance reader, I refuse to believe that Jason and Chelsea do not end up together no matter what the end of the episode wants us to believe.
Yeah, I think we can see the runway here, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
She says there's a subtle but meaningful moment that happened that I have to talk about in the car after the meeting with Sophie Arnaud when they're on the phone with their boss after Jason unintentionally shares the news about Chelsea's mom. The camera moves to a shot looking down at her phone. Her hand is holding the phone, and in a blink you miss it moment, we see Jason's fingers reach out and brush hers as if he's offering her comfort. So quick, so subtle, so swoony. I was a little nervous going in because I had issues with the book, but the changes that have been made are great. Lacey and Scott Michael Foster are dynamic together, and we need him in more Hallmark movies ASAP.
I would agree with that. Well, I started watching the show Greek, which Scott Michael, is it Scott Michael or Michael Scott?
Scott Michael.
That he's in.
Yeah.
From like years and years ago.
2007.
And I think he looks better today.
Me too.
Like, I mean, obviously he's like young and like, he's very young in Greek, but his character is so like messy and chaotic. He has aged nicely.
Absolutely.
Is what I'm trying to say.
Yes, for sure.
Do you want a synopsis?
I do.
Encouraged by Knightley to seek out answers to the last few lingering questions about her past loves, Chelsea goes to Spain and to Marcos' vineyard.
Hey, Wendy, what was your first impression of Marcos Revisited?
Well, Chelsea goes all the way to Spain to learn from her mistakes and immediately makes the same mistake in Boston.
Right? My first impression is the floor budget of this show must have exceeded that of most countdown to Christmas movies.
Oh, I'd be so curious about that.
Gorgeous, though. Gorgeous.
Yeah, totally. I mean, can you imagine these two actors? They're like, yeah, I'm going to go shoot all this stuff like in Paris and in Spain and all these beautiful places. Why are you confused?
No, like what, as opposed to like what other people get to do? Vancouver? Got it. Yeah, sure. We are back. We have our, as usual, cold open. We are on the castle grounds and we get like some sweeping views of the castle grounds and some shots of the wedding. And then we get, I refuse to believe this is Chelsea's wedding, but they are trying to like lead us to believe that.
Well, I think they did a really good job of that at the end of episode 4.
Yeah.
But then as it opened, I was like, this is not her wedding.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because
this is not her dude.
Marcos
either.
and Glenn talked, like Marcos is kind of like managing, setup. He would not be managing that at his own wedding. He's managing because this is his place.
Yeah.
And Glenn comes over and he's like, she's going to love this, right? Intentionally ambiguous. And Marcos is calling him Mr. Martin. He's like, I think you can call me Glenn by now, right? So there's all these moments where they're like, maybe. It's not Chelsea's wedding.
Yeah.
It feels like the opening of this, like you said, is walking back the end of episode 4. They're like, we got you, but don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry. We're going to pull it right back. And it's funny because they don't fully reveal it until the end when Annabelle like opens the door and Chelsea's in a bridesmaid's dress finally. But I felt like after this, I was like, it's not Chelsea.
The whole time I was like, it's not Chelsea. It's not Chelsea. And for some reason, it might just be my state of mind, but I was like kind of irrationally mad about it. I don't know why, because I thought the end of episode 4 was so good. And then I was like, well, duh, she's not going to be marrying Marcos.
Right. But it was kind of a good, for a show that's released episodically, it was a nice cliffhanger. It was a nice moment.
I think so too.
So we get the Chelsea and Marcos origin story. And it's a little bit different from her moments with the other guys in that she's not charmed by him. He's got daddy's money and she thinks he should be more environmentally responsible.
Like, where does that come from, though?
But that's her whole thing. Like, that's what she's doing. Like, she was, she works for the ACC now.
Right.
But, like, she wanted to be, like, a conservationist.
That is right. See, I had completely forgotten about that. Because that's right. Because she was working, like, wasn't she, like, by the ocean or something?
With the river.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it comes from a good place. And I actually think it does make sense. But she's not really warm to him. Like he's trying, I guess he's used to girls falling at his feet.
Is this how you nab a billionaire? You don't
play hard to get.
You don't take any interest in them.
I guess. I mean, it works. He's like, what do you mean you're not falling all over me? Well, now I must have you. But look, I gotta appreciate that she's like, yo, your carbon footprint is huge. That car is ridiculous. And so he's like, well, I'm gonna get me a bike.
Do people use what year is this supposed to be? She's supposed to be in college, right? Or maybe post-college.
Yeah. It's 10 years ago.
That's right.
Yeah, I
think
use the word
carbon footprint. Yeah, probably.
Maybe.
Probably. They probably were.
Someone who's in the environmental space probably was using it before it was
bozo like me probably
general vernacular. Before everyone's more worried about Taylor Swift's carbon footprint than
exactly
the actual problems of the world. There were some funny moments when she's like, you're just not my type. He's like, I'm everyone's type. But he's
my type.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. This man who plays him is super handsome.
I believe last week you said, fine.
Did I?
Yeah.
About this guy?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm embarrassed.
Because you said, Marcus is fine. And I said, did you mean fine or fine? And you clarified.
I need to see who the actor is because y'all hate news and notes. Just kidding. What is his name? Let me find out his name because he's fine. His name is Alejandro. I'm not even going to attempt this last name. Oh my God, he's so much younger than me too. Born in 82. Is he your age?
No, he's younger than me. He's my brother's age.
He's been in a ton of stuff. He's real handsome.
He's incredibly handsome.
Okay, moving on.
And look, I like that he's like, he takes the note. She's like, look, here's my issues. And he's like, done. And then like,
it's so easy. So easy.
I know.
I was like, oh, this is the Hallmark touch on this episode fully. Like, just too easily wrapped in terms of like, when she's like, I don't like that she's critical of his carbon footprint, like you said, and like how he spends his money and et cetera, et cetera. And then he just makes changes like that.
Well, I just think they're painting him like she says, Colin was romance, Sebastian was fire, Marcos was a partner. She just has a whole different vibe. He's much more mature than the other two guys.
For sure.
He just feels like a better match for her. And I think there's a case to be made that on paper, he certainly is the better match for her. And then right when he asks her to stay, she gets the news about her mom and she leaves.
Good scene by Lacey Chabert here.
Great scene with her dad on the phone.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like the way that they shot it too. It wasn't like, now if you had subtitles on, you could see what the dad was saying.
I could hear him.
I don't remember hearing anything. I thought it was kind of...
It was muted, but you could hear him.
Okay.
He was like, you got to come home.
I thought that was really well done.
Yeah.
Well done by the director here.
The interesting thing to me is that this is the first time in these 3 revisited relationships where Chelsea looks a little bit like the flawed one in the relationship, just because she comes off like a little hard, and that's just my perception. The other thing is like when in the voiceover, when she talks about him selling the car, she's like, he never told me that he did that. I don't know how she finds out that he sold the car, but he doesn't come to her and he's like, I sold that car to charity. It's just done in the background.
Right.
These are nice notes.
I agree.
And then they have the Marcos reunion. And I like that he still seems to be the same guy. Like he's still very flirty because she's like, I'm seeing someone. And he's like, I don't care. And he repeats that like multiple times.
Did you see that?
Oh.
Did you notice how ill-fitting her shirt was? When she
didn't.
got out of the car to go see him?
I didn't.
She's wearing like a different from her usual like tank top. She was wearing like, it was sleeveless, but it was buttoned, but it was just ill-fitting across the chest. Like the buttons were tense.
Yeah, they needed some tape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just was like, well, no, why would they put her in? Okay. I know we don't usually pick that stuff out in this, but it bothered me.
Last week, you were like, this guy's not a buffoon, right? Like he's not one of the 2 duds, obviously, but he has continued to kind of grow. He's taking over his dad's business and in the process has sold most of the business. And now he's sitting on $48 freaking billion. Like, is that a reality? $48 billion?
I mean, I don't know. Is it?
I have absolutely no idea, but he doesn't know what to do with it. I wonder if the hardest part about reconnecting with Marcos is that he actually lives up to her memory of him.
Oh, good point.
Like the other guys, she didn't feel the need to go back, because she has feelings for Knightley, but also like with Colin and with Sebastian, both were disappointing in some ways. And so Marcos is not.
Right.
He is actually continued to act based on her influence.
Yes.
So what's interesting is as handsome as he is and as I think attracted to him as she probably is, she doesn't really seem, there's no moment where I feel like, oh, she's considering this as a relationship.
Yeah, me neither. And they don't give us enough to like, we don't see any like backstory, a whole ton of backstory on them where they were having this like a romantic
Yeah, it was
love
cut short.
affair. Yeah.
But she does, like, she's like, I'm worried I'm leading him on. But she's also like, I told him the truth, I don't know. What's interesting, though, is she, like, wants to tell him. She's like, I need to explain why I left. And he's like, I don't want to live in the past. I'd be like, I want to know.
Yeah, you need some answer, right?
Yeah.
I know. I hate that. We always talk about that, too. Like, oh, no, you need to tell me now. Like, there's no postponing. Like, tell me now. Or tell me the reason why you left.
Yeah, it doesn't change anything. It's not like, since that line, I have been wondering, is there a reason? Is there a reason he didn't want to know? Is that going to come back into play? It doesn't seem like it is at all. It just seems like they're maybe trying to paint him as someone who's like, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't hold that against you. But I would still, if I were him, I would want to know. Why'd you leave?
Yeah, especially because she basically ghosted him. She says that she does.
Yes.
I mean,
even after leaving, at any point, she could have been like, hey, this is what happened. Like, I can understand
We live in the age of email. She could have shot him an email and be
I can totally understand her being like, I got to get out of here and just leaving. I understand that. And I can even understand like feeling overwhelmed by emotions and being like, I can't handle this. But she had many opportunities to shoot him an email and be like, I had a family emergency, even without getting into it. So,
right. We're hinging on my biggest problem with the episode.
Okay.
Marcos tells Chelsea he wants to start a foundation and he wants her to run it.
Yeah.
Because he's sitting on $48 billion.
Right.
Why is she not pitching the ACC to him? Why is he not a potential donor for the ACC?
Here's why I think that is. In that same dinner conversation, he says, like, the difference between her and everybody else is everyone else always wants something from him. When they reach out, it's always to ask him for money, even if it's for something good. And I think she didn't want to cross that line with him.
Come on. Convenient.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, because
I thought the same thing.
I mean, and she's supposed to be such a hard nose, like,
yeah, 1% of his money would endow the ACC forever.
exactly, especially after she has this conversation with Aiden and he's like,
I know.
Oh, the donation we just got is like barely keeping us afloat. And she learns, we'll get to it, I'm guessing, about Knightley and whatever and what she does. I don't know why at this point she can't pivot back to Marcos and be like, hey.
Yeah, I don't, and I wonder if that's what's going to happen in the next episode, because I do feel like when she has that conversation with Aiden, and we will talk about it, I really wanted her to be like, wait, pause. Don't make any crazy decisions. Let me see what I can do.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, hold on this for 24 hours.
Right.
And then figure something out, because had she gone back to Marcos with that money, she wouldn't have been asking for it for herself. Mm-hmm. Let's take a break and come back and talk about Knightley's money problems. We go back to Boston. Knightley's at home with his sister, who looks much older than a teenager, don't you think?
She's supposed to be a teenager?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought this girl was like a college girl.
I don't think so.
Yeah. I mean,
I think that's the whole reason he can't leave, is like she's in school.
I thought the styling was like very like 90s of, like she just had like 90s hair, I thought. And like, anyway, it doesn't matter. But I honestly was running on the assumption that she was a college student.
No, because he even says later to Chelsea, like, I can't leave till my sister's in college.
Ah, good catch. Yeah, she did look much older. Mm-hmm. I mean, God, Chelsea's sister could have played she looks
Teenage
much,
sister. Yeah, I agree. But basically we learn, like, we already know that he's kind of supporting her, paying for her to go to school, but now she's made the club soccer team. It's outrageously expensive. And he's like, don't worry, I got it. But then, of course, we see that, like, panicked look on his face, like, maybe I don't got it. Mm-hmm. But he feels like he's got to come through for her because their parents are such a disappointment.
Well, here's another problem I have with this episode is like we've spent like the last 5 episodes all up in Chelsea's business, and we know a sliver of his backstory and that he's financially responsible for this sibling and so on and so forth. But like we don't know anything else.
Yeah, that's where this series could have benefited with 2 extra episodes to build out some of these other stories.
Yeah, or season 2 from his POV.
Yeah. Yeah, because later on, like, we see him walking with a friend and we don't know anything about this guy. I mean, it's obvious we can deduce, like, this is his friend. His friend is just a baby. They're in a fantasy football league. Like, there's a whole thing going on. He's like, I can't afford it. What does your fantasy football league cost that you can't afford the buy-in?
I don't know, a couple $100 maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know. I just laughed at this. The guy's like, dude, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I thought it was very funny, actually.
Sure.
But I thought it was also bad advice from the friend who was like, it's your sister. You don't owe her. Like,
yeah.
I was like, what?
I didn't like that either at all.
What? He's like, it's not your kid. Or I don't know, something. I just thought it was terrible advice. Terrible.
Yeah, Knightley's showing up for his family.
Yeah,
and
that's
it
admirable.
makes his life a little bit harder, but that's what he feels compelled to do.
Yeah.
And he's in a position to do so, even if it means, you know, cutting some things out of his personal life. I understand Knightley's motivation there. I did like they have their little phone date. Mm-hmm. They're like both looking at their phones and Knightley calls and she's so happy to hear from him. She tells him about the the job offer.
Right.
And he is like so sad about it. And he's done long distance and it's never been successful. And he's like, I always pick women whose permanent plan is not to stay here. And then they kind of move on from it. They're like, we'll figure it out. And then they talk about his sister and the money, and she offers to help him, and he turns her down. And there's just like, they're laying it all out there.
Yeah.
She knows the whole score, basically. But he does tell her, like, debt tore my family apart. My family lost everything. And he's like almost about to tell her he loves her. And then he says, sweet dreams.
It's sweet.
It's a nice call. They're cute.
I like the way they're doing that. Mm-hmm. Is the Aiden scene next when she goes into the office?
Yes. Chelsea makes it like a surprise visit home. She surprises Annabelle, who's like at home watering plants. I'm back. Like, I made my decision. And she says she's going to go surprise Knightley at work. What was your thought here? Did you have any?
No, not really.
I was like, oh no, something's going to go wrong. Like, I was convinced like she was going to catch Knightley doing something he shouldn't have been, or with another woman, or I don't know. I just was like,
that'd be terrible.
They're setting this up not to go well, because I just knew they were setting it up not to go well. And it was different than what I thought. And she walks in with her 2 giant Dunkin' Donuts iced coffees, product placement again. Like, they're just literal, like, gallons of black iced coffee. Which,
not even like sweating at all.
No, they did have some faux ice cubes in them.
I get so scared. She like grabs them at the end. And like, you know, sometimes when you grab like a plastic.
Oh, the lid pops off?
The lid pops off. And then you got spillage everywhere. Oh my God. It just was like worst nightmare happening. I'm like, who's drinking that big ass iced coffee just black like that?
Right?
I can't even imagine.
Vibrating.
Seriously.
At the end of the day, yeah. And before she's able to speak to Knightley, Aiden intercepts her and gives her the download on what's happening.
The 411.
Yeah.
We're barely staying afloat.
Kind of interesting, right? I'm like, what happened to all your money? But look, I get it. The world's more expensive. He basically is like, your donation saved us, but also we're laying people off.
Oh, it's awful.
And Knightley's got to go.
I mean, I think she makes a good pitch. Like, Knightley did save the deal, the Paris deal with Sophie or whatever her name is. But, you know, I kind of like that Chelsea falls on the sword here, but also I kind of hated it too.
Yeah. So I had so many mixed emotions, right? And I hate the way she handles it with Knightley. She basically is like, we got to cut this off. In her voiceover, she explains, like, I could never tell him the truth. His pride would never have allowed him.
Sure.
I get that. And I do think she was between a rock and a hard place, because she wanted him to have this job. You know, Aiden's like, Knightley will land on his feet, and he probably would have, right?
Maybe.
I don't know. I wish there was another way for her to have handled this, because when she starts cutting Knightley off, I'm like, oh, she's like back to her old ways.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, did she learn anything from revisiting these dudes from the past?
And then I think her explanation kind of like reframes it. She's not just like cutting herself off from love. Like, she's doing this out of love for Knightley.
Okay. Fair.
She's like protecting him. But I was like, there's got to be another way for him to know that you care about him. Like, why? I guess the question is, like, why does she need to tell him? Like, why couldn't she just say, like, oh, I got fired?
Yeah.
Or, oh, I quit.
Well,
like,
she's lying to him then.
I guess. Or, oh, they're making budget cuts and like, I have this other opportunity. So it only felt like the right choice for me to leave. She doesn't have to say it was me or you. She could just say, I have this other opportunity to do good.
But then he would have talked her out of it.
Maybe.
Or tried to. I get it. It's a rock and a hard place.
She goes home and like bursts into tears to Annabelle. You're like, she's not turning away from like her feelings for him. And then he's like, I love you. And
I love that scene when she goes home to her sister and she just like breaks down.
Yeah.
The sister scenes are the best part of this show for me. And the dad's like, what's going on? And like, he just approaches them like so gently. Me as a parent, I'd be like, what's happening?
Yeah.
What happened? What's wrong? You know, I have no chill whatsoever. So good scene.
So Glenn proposes.
Yes.
It's a nice family moment. It's full circle.
Yes.
Chelsea's like fully supportive. And Chelsea even says like, I'm so glad you get your second love. And Annabelle's like, do you believe that? And she's like, I do for you. And she realizes like how her feelings about love have shaped how Annabelle feels about love and blah, blah, blah. That's all nice. And that's kind of like a balm to all of them. And Sherry's fully welcomed into the family. And another clue they get is she's like, will you be my bridesmaids? And Chelsea says, only if we can wear dresses that match your ring. And you know that Annabelle's dress from earlier is the same color as the ring.
Yep.
You know, it's like reveal. Great. Yep. Cut to the wedding. The photographer, Sebastian's like, I need to take pictures. Mm-hmm. It's the bride ready. You know, they're kind of dragging it out.
It's too far for me. I'm like, come on.
And she goes running through the castle and pounds on the door. And then Chelsea opens the door and she's in the bridesmaid's dress.
Yes.
It's like, okay.
Shocking.
Yay. I did want to read an email before we talk about this.
Okay.
Amanda says, I know you don't do a Did You See That episode for these, but what was with them carrying that wedding gown all around the castle? Why wasn't Sherry in the bridal suite, or at least bring her up there when it was time to get dressed? I was worried they were going to trip on the stairs. And me too, honestly.
That didn't bother me. What bothered me is like, you have this high-end fashion photographer, which one, they never, never mind. Yes, they did explain why he's there. Not in this episode, but in previous. Okay, got it.
I guess why does it need to be him?
Why does it need to be him? Other than they made this exchange and she probably brokered some deal, like you're going to shoot, whatever. Anyway, but they're taking pictures and they're doing like jazz hands. And like, nobody's doing like jazz hands in there.
I think the point is like Sherry's super cheesy, remember? Because he has that sign that says, will you marry me, Sherry B? And Annabelle's like, she matches his cheese. Like Glenn and Sherry are just silly, goofy guys.
Yeah, but do you think this fashion photographer...
I did think the photographs were very giving like, stand together and take a picture and not like, I know what I'm doing and how to frame a photo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is my own beef.
Sure.
With it all.
She, in her voiceover, is like...
It's been a year and I'm still longing for Knightley.
Basically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Every time she closes my eyes, he's still the only one. You're still the only one I see.
You're still the one, that's still the one I run to.
In the press episodes for episode 6, it's a lot of wedding shots. Wedding.
Chelsea's wedding?
Wedding. Nope. All this Sherry wedding. So many wedding shots. And there's a photo of
Knightley's talking in the background.
Chelsea and Knightley talking at the wedding.
Oh, good.
Oh, there's a photo of Knightley's like hand on her face.
Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up.
What's he holding?
A ring.
Oh, maybe she sent him the voice note because there's a photo of him like coming down the stairs holding the phone. Like maybe he's listening to it. There's like so many photos of them together. If you know anything about romance, we got to have a happily ever after. It's required in a romance novel. So, you know, we knew where we were headed, but
we're going to see this whole wedding unfold.
Seems like it because there are one zillion.
Totally. Oh, yeah. He's looking at the phone, guys. Hand on the face, hair tuck. Oh, hand holding. I mean, I have a feeling I think I know how this ends, but...
Yeah, me too. That phone shot did it for me.
Yeah, did you see in our, I think it was the Facebook group, somebody was like, that must have been a really long voice memo she sent him.
Right.
I think it was listener Wayne who was like, he's like, I'd be scrolling through the transcript.
Totally, me too. Get to the point. As the person who watches TikToks on 2x speed... Right. I've destroyed my attention span. Okay, I want to ask you a question. Do you think there's anything to the fact that Knightley's sister is playing club soccer and Annabelle's like this former soccer star? Like, is there a connection to be made there? Is there some sort of like season 2? Like, what's gonna happen with Annabelle here?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's such an open thread.
Yep, agree.
And I'm sure something could happen in the finale with her. Like maybe Chelsea sneakily invites like Declan to come. Maybe they've been in contact all this time. Maybe we see her meet somebody. But I think if we don't get some sort of something happening with Annabelle beyond this, do you really believe there's a second chance at love? That feels like a very open thread for me.
I kind of hope there is a season 2.
I think there's a lot we could do with it.
I think so too. There's different point of views. We could definitely dig deeper into Annabelle. We can definitely dig deeper into Knightley's story.
Well, maybe season 2 is Annabelle, and like Knightley and Chelsea like exist as background characters.
Yeah, they don't have to carry the show. Yeah, because also she resides in Spain, right?
Well, maybe.
I mean, we don't know yet what happens. If she's going to be like, well,
maybe Knightley's sister gets recruited to some Spain soccer academy.
Okay.
I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen.
I've enjoyed the series. I think it's really good, a little predictable, but I think it's hitting all the right notes.
It's hitting the right notes.
Me.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for listening to this episode of Girls Gone Hallmark. If you love this podcast, friends, it's the time. We are headed into our busiest season, and we would love your 5-star ratings and reviews in the Apple Podcast app to give Girls Gone Hallmark the boost it needs to find a brand new audience going into the holiday season. We'll be back next time with more Hallmark reviews. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, friends, before we go, just a quick heads up. You're about to hear some ads. These little gems help us keep the show running and the Hallmark love flowing. So do with that info what you will. Grab a snack, hit the skip button, or maybe, just maybe, listen in and discover your new favorite product. Bye.